So welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go through a concept called M&R periods within your agency and how you absolutely must apply this concept to your agency when it comes to scaling up. If you don't scale with M&R periods in your agency, things are guaranteed to break. Right? It's just guaranteed to break. That's what's going to happen if you don't apply M&R periods within your agency. And so I just want to jump straight to this video. The best way really to explain these concepts is to show you a couple diagrams that I've built specifically for this YouTube video. And I'm actually going to pull a resource directly out of the Suntory Agency program. The resource is called the Vetting, Hiring, and Ramping Process. And it's essentially the process and the structure that we leverage when it comes to hiring new media buyers for your agency and new talent overall, GMs, copywriters, etc., appointment setters, SDRs, all that type of stuff. And it really ties in with the M&R period concept and how it applies to your agency. As always, guys, just before we jump in, make sure you go ahead, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel down below. Hugely helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And also on top of that, make sure you go ahead and join the free agency Facebook group that I have built for agency owners. We have agency owners in there who are complete beginners at $0 a month. And we actually also have multiple agency owners inside the group as well, who are actually above $50,000 a month with their agency. And really the sole goal of the group is to provide you guys with 100K per month agency secrets. And as I say, you can actually go ahead into the description below this video and find the direct link to the 100K per month agency secrets Facebook group. So as I say, let me just jump straight into it here, okay? This is basically a graph that I built. It's not the most well-made graph, okay? Don't roast me in the comments for it, but it really does prove my point. So this is how most agency owners think that they can scale, right? Because everybody always talks about, and look guys, I'm very much guilty of this as well, right? I only really, on this YouTube channel specifically, talk about how to go from 0 to 10,000 a month through your agency, right? The biggest program that I have is the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program. It's got over 500 members in there now, at least at the point of recording. And it's all about, as I say, taking you from 0 to 10,000 a month. YouTube videos that do the best in terms of views and whatnot, right? All regarding going from 0 to 10,000 a month, build a 10,000 a month SMMA in 30 days, right? Those videos crush all the time. So, kind of more inclined to make them. This video, I know is probably not going to do that well because not many people are really too worried or they don't care what to do past 10,000 a month. But if you action on the right concept for a period of time, you will be at 10,000 a month with your agency. And if you're anything like me, I know that you will not want to stay at 10,000 a month for any length of time, right? You just won't. You want to ramp, you want to keep pushing. And really, this is where these types of concepts come into play. Obviously, that's one of the biggest reasons why I built the Suntory Agency program as well, which is a program that takes agency owners, around the 5 to 10,000 a month mark, and we scale them up to 100,000 a month. As I say, we're flooded at the moment with agency owners who are doing above 50,000 a month with their agency. And the reason being is because of concepts exactly like this. Now on that, just quickly, if you're interested in joining the Suntory Agency program, go ahead and apply below there's the link's going to be in the description. You'll see it will say like apply here for Suntory Agency, booking a call with myself directly, and we can really just lay out a roadmap for you and your agency. If you're, there's a minimum to join Suntory, which is 5,000 a month, okay? If you're at 5,000 a month minimum with your agency, go ahead and book in a call. We have agency owners inside the program as well, as I say, who are doing 50,000 a month. And basically, as I say, Suntory's going to ramp you to 100,000. Now, back to this diagram, okay? As I said to you before, nobody talks about what to do after you get to, anywhere from like 8 to 10,000 a month with your agency. And so as a byproduct of that, what happens is everybody just defaults to the idea of this right here. Everybody thinks that you can just sign a client and sign another and sign another and sign another and sign another. And it's just this nice, easy straight line, right? That's what people think. What they don't realize is that a break will happen in this section if you do try and scale your agency as so. If you try and scale your agency in just a nice, easy straight line, there's gonna be a break. It's guaranteed to happen because what we have on the y-axis here, okay, is number of clients. And what we have on the x-axis is capacity, which is your infrastructure. Obviously when you hire a media buyer, they have a cap, right? And again, for most agency owners, this is not gonna be an issue until they're at around around 10,000 a month. Or, it's depending on like the numbers and whatnot, it could be up to, 50,000 a month, right? If you're billing each client 5K a month and you've got 10 clients, that's 50 grand a month. And then obviously at that point, that one media buy that you have is going to be at cap at 10 clients. Now, certain media buyers cap out at 7 clients, 9 clients, 8 clients, 6 clients, depending on the ad spend, right? Sometimes, again, on the flip side, depending on the ad spend, it could be up to like 13, 14 clients, right? But at some point, a majority of the time, it's going to start to kick in around the 7 client mark, right? Where this first initial media buyer that you hire is going to start experiencing a little bit of pressing, right? A little bit of stress, okay? And they're going to be approaching their cap. As I say, if a client is spending like 100,000 a month, right? If you have a client roster of, as I say, clients who are spending 100,000 a month, then your cap's going to be, your media buyer's cap is going to be more around the 5 to 6 client mark. However, if you have a client roster who are only spending 1,000 a month each, well, then your cap's going to be, maybe up around the 13, 14,000 a month, 13, 14 client mark, right? But nevertheless, right? The point is that at some point, it's going to break if you just keep signing clients, right? And people default to the idea of like, oh, I'll just bring on a second media buyer, right? Now, the issue with that is that is not realistic, okay? If you're wanting, so going from 0 to 10,000 a month, all you need is just somebody there who knows how to run ads. They don't need to fit culturally. They don't really need to be the most perfect of candidates. They don't really need to be, have the perfect personality. They don't really need to 100% align with your agency's mission and whatnot, because that's just not that important going from 0 to 10,000 a month. It's just not. You don't need it. All you need is somebody who knows how to run ads and can get your client results. If somebody can do that, you can go to 0 to 10,000 a month with ease. You can do it with your eyes closed, as long as you have the right action plan and all that type of stuff, right? But to go from 10,000 a month to 100,000 a month, I can't explain it enough. If you don't have a team that is in 100% alignment with your agency's mission that you've clearly detailed, they operate on a daily basis in alignment with your core values and principles that, again, you've laid out and you're routinely drilling that into your team, and they are A1 talent, right? They are producing ridiculous results for your clients. If you don't have a team of that nature, okay, you won't be able to ramp to 100,000 a month. It's literally never going to happen. Okay. And so at that point, that's where this idea starts to really kick in. Because to find talent of that nature, to find team members who fit in those parameters that I've just said, alignment with your agency's mission, core values are completely aligned, they act and operate in those core values daily, all that type of stuff, right? To find somebody of that nature, apart from those situations, which again happen in like 0.0001% of the time, it's going to take time to find and hire that specific individual. And so what happens at that point is this. So the growth is fine, right? Signing clients, you got a media buyer who's pretty solid, and you're signing clients, right? Third client, okay, media buyer's handling now 3 clients, perfect. You sign a 4th, perfect. You just add on the 4th to that media buyer, blah, blah, blah. And you just, you keep scaling until you reach the breaking point. And that, as I say, is going to range 6 to 10 clients. It's usually going to fall into this range somewhere along the lines. In this case, we've got it at 7. Okay, so at 7 clients, media buyer 1 in this instance cannot handle any more clients. So you have to hire somebody new. Now, if you don't apply the concept of M&R periods, and I'm going to get onto what that means here in a minute. If you don't apply the concepts of M&R periods in your agency, what's going to happen inevitably at that point is you're going to plateau, okay? You're going to drop off because you're going to be handcuffed. You can't sign any more clients because your media buyer can't handle anymore. But if you go against that and you're like, oh no, he can handle more, she can handle more, and whatever, well, what's then going to happen is clients 1 to 7 are now going to experience a lower level of results because there's not as much time being applied to each individual client. Now, when you don't get clients as good as results as you can, that is obviously then going to directly impact your monthly billable. Okay, how much you can actually bill that client. It's going to directly impact that, because if you can only generate a client 5,000 a month, 5,000 a month return on ad spend, you physically can't bill them 5,000 a month or 10,000 a month in billables. It's just physically impossible. However, if you're getting that same client 100,000 a month in return, then you can comfortably bill them 5 to 10,000 a month in billables, right? So what you can bill a client directly correlates to the level of service that you're providing and the level of value that you're genuinely injecting into that client's business. And then furthermore, at that point, that then also impacts the scale of your agency. If you can only bill clients 1,000, 2,000 a month because you're not getting them good results, and all you can bill them, as I say, is 1,000 to 2,000 a month, then you're gonna have to get 50 to 100 clients a month on a monthly basis to reach 100,000 a month. Now, if you have a solid team in place, you're able to deliver ridiculously high level results for each of your clients, then you can bill clients, as I say, 5 to 10,000 a month, which means at that point, all you really need is 10 to 20 clients a month, right? So you can just see how scale really comes down to service delivery, because service delivery impacts billables, and service delivery really stems from your team. So that takes me back to this point here. You must hire the correct people, okay? And again, if you're inside a Centurion, obviously you guys know I give you pre-vetted media buyers, and obviously all of those media buyers are pre-vetted by myself personally. I know they're great fits, and they're media buyers that I would literally bring onto my own agency. But if you don't have a resource of that nature, or you don't know how to hire effectively, then what's gonna happen is you're gonna plateau because you can't sign any more clients. However, this is where the concept of M&R periods come into play. So M&R periods stands for maintenance and ramping periods, okay? Maintenance and ramping periods. Now, a maintenance period, do not get it mistaken, is not a plateau period, okay? Maintaining and plateauing are two entirely different things. Maintaining is referring to you pre-building something so that you can then scale. Plateauing means that you're spinning your wheels and you're not getting anywhere and you're not moving forward in any way, shape, or form. There's a difference. Maintaining and plateauing, there's a big difference. And what we want to do is we want to have maintenance periods within our agency. So for example, in this instance, what you could do, okay, so you can see here, I've actually brought this line back a little bit. So now we cap out around 5 to 6 clients, right? So instead, before, we hit the cap of 7 up here, right? If this specific media buyer had a cap of 7, well, we've hit it. So you've already pretty much failed at that point, because now you are going to plateau for a period of time. But what we now want to do with the M&R period concept is that you want to start to now look anywhere from 5 to 6 clients. If your media buyer's cap is 7, now you start the hiring process. And so this means that during the hiring process, you can still sign another client, then you're at 6, and you can still even sign a second, then you're at 7, then they're at the cap at this point. Now they're capped out, right? They've hit capacity, your current media buyer. But guess what? You've been doing the hiring process for a 2-month period or a 1-month period or whatever it may be. And so now at the end of this hiring process, you now have a fully ramped media buyer. And so now at the end of this hiring process, you may not have a fully ramped media buyer, okay? And I'm gonna show you the resource that I've pulled directly out of Centurion Agency, the hiring resource that's inside of Centurion, and the kind of the structure that we follow here in a minute. But as I said, at the end of this hiring process, you may not have a fully ramped media buyer because we have a ramping period. That said, you have a media buyer who in 1 or 2 months is going to be fully ramped. So at that point, you can then start, right? This is that 1 to 2 months where you don't go as hard as you usually would, but you're still consistently growing. There's no direct cap. There's no direct plateau, right? Because you structure it in a certain way where you're still signing one client, another client. Okay, now we start to ramp up a little bit more. And now by this point, the media buyer who you kind of found during this hiring process is fully ramped. They can now handle their own 6 to 7 to 8 clients, whatever it may be, and bang, you can ramp. And then as we look down here at the infrastructure on the x-axis, right? Now we have a look at the third media buyer. Okay, so that's an example. But now if each media buyer's cap was 7, we never hit 7 clients, right? Again, up at this section here, we're not at 14 clients, right? We look at 12, 13 clients. And then again, we start the hiring process. And by the time that this media buyer, or we found the solid media buyer, then we'll be at 14. But hey, guess what? We've already got a fully ramped media buyer by that point, and you continue to then ramp. So maintaining and plateauing, as I say, are two entirely different things. Plateauing, I just see as a flat line, pretty much. That's what plateauing is, right? If you're still increasing, well, you're not plateauing. If you're not increasing as much as you once were, yes, you're not probably ramping, right? But you're not plateauing in any way. It's just your growth isn't as much. But a plateau is a straight line, and you're going to experience a plateau in your agency if you wait until your media buyer is fully capped out, because then you're going to be handcuffed. You physically cannot bring on any more clients. And if you do bring on a new client, majority of the time, that means that directly a client is going to drop. So you've not really signed any new clients, because at that point, you're just going to be spinning your wheels. You're going to stay at 7 clients and you're just going to plateau. However, when you apply the idea of M&Rs to your agency, maintenance and ramping periods, you go through a maintenance period, but you're still signing clients when you can, right? You're just not pushing the boundaries. For example, if you're in Centurion, then obviously you're going to be running ads for your agency now and, getting book calls for maybe, for example, we launched some new ads and we're currently getting book calls around $100 top of funnel at the moment. And, what I would maybe do, we're spending a couple hundred a day on ads. So in a maintenance period, I might just, cut back the spend, right? So I'm not ramping, I'm not pushing the boundaries. I might just cut back the spend. For example, in outbound prospecting, if we're sending 100 emails a day, I might just start sending, 25 emails a day. So we're still maintaining the agency, we're still signing clients. It's just not at the rate that it once was because I'm building the infrastructure. I'm maintaining the agency's growth to build the infrastructure, which then allows me to ramp, which then fuels the ramping period when we can start to sign 5 clients a month or whatever it is, right? And we can go back to the $100 spend or whatever the structure is, right? So as I said to you before, this is the executive media buyer vetting / ramping process and just the entire hiring process, right? And you can see here that it's a pretty in-depth process. I'm not going to zoom in because I don't want to show all the info. As I say, this is a resource pulled directly out of Centurion Agency. It's a much higher level program. Again, that's for agency owners who are at $5,000 a month minimum with their agency and they want to ramp up, right? But this process here, okay, goes through basically, this is the applicant sourcing section. Then we have the hiring section, okay? Then we have like the application and vetting section, right? Then we have the hiring, okay? And then we have the ramping process, which is this purple section down here. Now, this process here in and of itself, this first section of this structure, right, will take anywhere from, I would probably say 1 to 4 weeks, okay? Because actually, a bit of a spoiler alert, this section here is a hiring VSL. So now we also build out hiring VSLs to hire, okay? And this is one of the most pivotal things that I apply to my own agency. And obviously, again, students inside Centurion, for example, one student inside Centurion, I hope he doesn't mind me sharing, he basically was able to bring on a new media buyer, right? He brought on a new media buyer by virtue of this exact structure, and he was able to double his entire agency. I think it was inside like the first month of him joining, right? And it was just by applying this structure. And I literally was on a call a couple nights ago in Centurion. We have multiple Q&A calls each week. And I was on a call with everybody inside, and he literally told me that like, he would not have been able to sign on this new team member if it wasn't for the hiring VSL and the way that it's structured. And the reason being is because now what you want to do in order to attract A1 talent for your agency, you must sell them, right? You putting out a little job post, and this is what I was saying before, going from 0 to like 5,000, 6,000 a month, you don't really need to do this. But to go from 5, 10, 15, 20, 30,000 a month with your agency and scale up to 100,000, right? You must be doing this. And what that is selling talent. Because if you're just putting out a job post, whatever job board you put it on, Facebook group or wherever you put the job post, and if it just says, looking for a media buyer, we'll pay $650 per month per client. How in depth you go in that job post is going to depict the level of talent that you're going to attract. That's just the idea of it. And so when you restructure that entire vetting process and you restructure your hiring process and you include something like a hiring VSL, that's when the talent that you start to attract seriously increases, because now we're going a lot more in depth into the hiring process. It's not just something that we're like, oh yeah, we'll just put that out and we'll just, hope for the best. We're not doing that anymore. It's a genuinely structured process, right? And it's tremendously important. And we just basically look at hiring as client acquisition. When it comes to client acquisition, you best believe that you want to be selling clients in a certain way where you're attracting the highest caliber of client. Because if you're not attracting high caliber clients, then you're not going to be able to deliver high level results. If you're not delivering high level results, you can't build them a lot. If you can't build clients, if you can't build clients, as I was saying before, past like 1,000, 2,000 a month, you're never going to scale to 100,000 a month with your agency. It's another concept that we go through in Centurion because it's very, very important. Right? And it's the same thing with your hiring. It's a full process. It's a funnel. It's a hiring acquisition funnel. Okay. Very, very important. So, my point is to build that out and get that to a very, very effective level. That's going to take at least 2 to 4 weeks if you have the step-by-step training. If you don't have the step-by-step training, it's probably going to take you, that in and of itself, just building it is going to take you easily 2+ months without a doubt. But as I say, for example, if you're inside of Centurion, it's going to take you to, 2 to 4 weeks, right? To build that out because you have, everything's plug and play. Just give you everything, right? And then on top of that, this purple section is the ramping process. And again, I'm not going to go into it specifically, but it is a 3-month ramping process. Okay, this basically means taking your applicant that you found here, right? You identified is a good fit here. You got on the interview and you found and you figured out that this candidate is the perfect fit for my agency and I want to bring them on board. Well, at that point, when they come on board initially, they're not going to be at the level where they can produce 200, 300,000 a month return on ad spend for your clients. Unless you find a unicorn and they just crush ads. It doesn't happen a lot of the time because the way that we hire is it's all based on personality, not skill set or experience. Right? Very, very important again for the long-term growth of your agency. And so what happens then is that, as I say, when you hire these new media buyers or general managers or copywriters or whatever it may be, sometimes they're not 100% ramped up on the skill set side. That's where this 3-month ramping process comes into play. So going back to this diagram here, right? Again, as we got on the x-axis, capacity in the infrastructure. So when you sign on new media buyers or you bring on new media buyers, there is a hiring process that's in place. And that hiring process is going to take anywhere from 2 to 5 months. Or anywhere from really 1 to 5 months, depending on the structure and all that type of stuff. But my point is that if you only hire once you're at cap, then this 2 to 5 month period, you're going to be handcuffed because you can't bring on any more clients. So you're basically going to be, you're going to plateau. That's what's going to happen. But if you apply the M&R structure to your agency, what you're going to be able to do at this point is you're going to be able to implement a maintenance period, and that maintenance period kickstarts your hiring process. And obviously that's when you can start to slowly, decrease your client acquisition rates, but still sign clients, just not at the rate that you once was, right? Hiring process is in operation. And then, within the next, 1 to 2 months, because you can still start your ramping process as your media buyer, even if your media buyer isn't fully ramped after the 3-month process, you still, start to ramp up and sign new clients. But obviously the ramping phase starts to just slowly pick up. And then at that point, bang, you can go into your full ramping phase. Next minute, you're going to be at the next maintenance stage. And then obviously that's where you implement the next maintenance phase and you start the next hiring process. That's how you're able to scale consistently and near enough guaranteed to 100,000 a month with your agency and ensure that things do not break, right? They do not break this way because it's a structured process. M&R periods, maintenance and ramping periods within your agency are extremely, extremely important. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, I know it was a little bit high level concepts, if you like, in this video. But if you are an agency owner at minimum 5,000 a month with your agency and you're interested in joining the Centurion Agency program, which is a program that takes you from your stage, if you're at 5,000 a month minimum, and ramps you up to 100,000 a month. As I say, we have students in there doing 30, 40, 50 grand a month as well. And it's just a much high level community, and everything in that program is geared around ramping you to 100,000 a month. And the feedback already is absolutely wild. And there's still a hybrid offer on right now as well, by the way. At the point of this video actually launching, there's still a hybrid offer. And so it's the best time to get into it because in a couple weeks time, the program is going to ramp up to full price. Whereas at the moment, it's not full price quite as of yet. So highly recommend you go ahead and you book in your call below. As I say, it's going to be the first or second link in the description. It'll be say apply for Centurion Agency. It'll be a call with myself, which is basically give you a roadmap on how you can ramp up to 100,000 a month. So as I say, go ahead and book in your Centurion Agency call below. And with that being said, I deeply hope that just from this video alone, you was able to pull some actionable insights in terms of how you can scale up your agency. And as always, if you found value, go ahead, smash the like button, and I will see you in the next video.